Hello, this is for first semester major student. This is about legislative relation between the center and the state. So India is a federation and there exists a close relation between the center and the state, and the legislative relation between the center and the state are generally based on three lists, and these three lists are union list, state list and concurrent list. So union parliament can frame laws on the subjects which are mentioned in the union list. The state legislature can frame laws on the subject mentioned in the state list. And concurrent list means it is a joint list. Both the central government and the state government both can frame laws on concurrent list, on concurrent subject. But if in the same subject both the central government and the state government frame laws, then the central law will prevail. So you remember there are three lists: union list, state list and concurrent list. Union government frame laws on union list, state government frame laws on state list, and both the center and the state government, they can frame laws on concurrent subject. But if in the same subject both the government frame laws, then the center law will be prevail. Then there are some residuary power, residuary, residuary power. So those the subjects which are not mentioned in these three lists, that means union list, state list and concurrent list, these are known as residuary power. That means অবশিষ্ট ক্ষমতা, residuary power. In India, the residuary power are enjoyed by the central government. You remember, in India, the residuary power are enjoyed by the central government. Those subjects which are not included in these three lists. Then, in case of state list also, the central parliament can frame laws. When the central parliament can frame laws on state list, number one, if two or more state legislature request for the same, that means if two or more legislative assembly request the central government to frame laws on the state subject, then the central parliament can frame laws on state subject. Secondly, if the Rajya Sabha passed a resolution on that effect. That means if the Rajya Sabha passed a resolution, then also the central parliament can frame laws on the state subject. Okay, and if state emergency is declared in a particular state, then also the central parliament can frame laws for that state. And if national emergency is declared, then also the central parliament can frame laws on certain subjects. So sometimes question is there, when the central parliament can frame laws on state subject. Number one, if two or more state legislative assembly or state legislature request the parliament for the same. Secondly, if the Rajya Sabha passes a resolution and asks the parliament to frame laws on that subject. And thirdly, if state emergency is declared in a particular state, then also the central parliament can frame laws on the state subject. And if national emergency is declared, then also the central parliament can frame laws on state subject. So now you remember another thing I am telling you, that central government or central parliament is much powerful in legislative matters, because sometimes, number one, previous consent of the president. Consent of the president is necessary to introduce certain bill in the parliament, certain bill in the legislature, state legislature. So you see that for introducing certain bill in the state legislature, previous consent of the president means the central government, is necessary. Then sometime governor may send certain bill passed by the legislature, passed by the state legislature for the consent of the president. Okay, so central parliament is much more powerful in legislative matter. How? There are three lists. Again, I am repeating the same thing. There are three lists: central list, state list, or union list, state list, and concurrent list. The central government can frame laws on the subject mentioned in the union list. State government can frame laws on the subject mentioned in the state list. And concurrent list is a joint list. Here both the central government and state government can frame laws, but if both the government frame laws on the same topic, then the law of the central government will prevail. And the residual power, that means those subjects which are not included in the three lists, are known as residual power. Sometimes question is there, what is residual power? Residual power means the subjects which are not included in the three lists are known as residual power. And who enjoy the residual power? It is the central government who has enjoy the residual power. That means central government frame laws on the residual subject. Then the central government also can frame laws on state subject in normal circumstances, when if two or more state legislature request the central parliament to do the same thing. If the Rajya Sabha passes a resolution to that effect and asks the parliament to frame laws. Again, if the state emergency is declared in a particular state, then the central parliament will frame laws on state subject. Then if national emergency is declared, then also the central parliament will frame laws on state subject. Moreover, for the introduction of certain bill in the state legislative assembly, prior permission of the president is necessary. Again, sometimes some bill may be passed by the state legislature, but the governor, before putting his signature, sent the bill to the president for his consent. So clearly it is proved that in legislative matter, Indian parliament is much more superior or much more powerful than that of the state legislative assembly. So you remember these things, that will be sufficient, I think, for your exam tomorrow. And now it is financial relation. Financial relation, here you remember again that India is a federation. Here there are two types of government. One is central government and there are several state governments are there. So both the governments needs money to run the administration of the country. So the division of revenue between the center and the state actually relating with the financial relation. Division of revenue, sources of revenue among the center and the state is related with financial relation. So how there are some taxes are there which are levied. Levied means introduced, levied by the central government, but appropriated and used by the state government. That means some taxes are introduced, some taxes are actually levied or introduced or imposed by the central government, but the money are collected and used by the state government. Okay. Then some taxes are there. Some taxes are levied, collected and used by the central government. Then some taxes are levied, collected and used by the state government. So you find in their book which are those taxes. You just remember the name of 2 or 3 taxes. So some taxes are levied by the central government, collected and used by the state government. Some taxes are levied, collected and used by the central government. And some taxes are levied by the state government and used by the collected and used by the state governments. Okay, then there is grants in its system also. Grants in aid system. That means whatever the sources of income of the state government, that is not sufficient for the state government to run the administration of the country, and that is why the central government give them grants in aid. That means the central government give them grants and they carried on their activities. So you remember, as the central government are giving them grants, so automatically central control and the state government are very significant. Then finance commission. One finance commission is there in India. And what is the activities of the finance commission? The activities of the finance commission is to review the center-state relations, give their suggestion where to improve the relation, where to give the state government more power, or where the central government should have to enjoy more power. All these suggestions are given by the finance commission. That means finance commission review the financial relation between the center and the state, and they from time to time give suggestions to the central and the state government to maintain a cordial financial relation between them. But here also you remember that central government is much more powerful in financial matters. They are helping the state government, and that's why they have control over the state governments. So this is in nutshell about the financial relation, and you just wait for a while. I will give the administrative relation also.